It happened around 2019, when 25-year-old Emily was living in Queens, New York. She took a daily 45-minute walk from her home to the gym, always including music on her headphones. However, one day while walking back from the gym, she heard an inner voice telling her to turn around. When Emily obeyed and looked back, she noticed a man following her closely. He was dressed in a blue t-shirt, dark jeans, and black and white sneakers. There was nothing lustful in his gaze, just a cold, insane obsession. Emily felt goosebumps run down her spine. This man clearly had evil intentions. The frightened girl began to quicken her step, but the stranger followed her relentlessly. Emily walked, he walked, and so 4 blocks, until she noticed a fire hydrant. Deciding to sit down on it and catch her breath, Emily hoped the stalker would just pass by. But he didn't. Finding herself in mortal fear, Emily noticed the transparent door of the store, behind which stood a young man talking on the phone. She immediately went inside and took a bottle of water, paying the clerk with trembling hands. He immediately realized that the girl was in trouble and asked what was wrong. Emily told him about the stalker. The seller checked the cameras and saw that the maniac was standing at the door of the store and looking at Emily with a crazy look. Luckily, he never ventured inside. Emily's heart was racing as she explained the situation to the clerk. He listened to her carefully and, without waiting for the girl's request, immediately called the police. "Hold on, help is on the way," the clerk said sternly as he hung up the phone. He pulled a baseball bat from under the counter and stood next to Emily, ready to fight back against the stalker if necessary. Emily looked at the brave stranger with gratitude. She'd never been so scared in her life, but the feeling of helplessness was replaced by relief that there was someone there to protect her. Time seemed to stop. Emily and the salesman stared tensely at the silhouette of the man behind the glass, waiting for his next move. The man continued to stand still, keeping his eyes on Emily. A black abyss of madness seemed to swirl in his eyes. Finally, the sound of sirens could be heard in the distance. Emily almost shrieked with relief. The police had responded quickly to the call. But as soon as the first police car appeared on the street, the maniac immediately broke from his seat and fled. 2 policemen jumped out of the car and rushed after him in pursuit. But it seems that the madman was very fast and agile. Emily tensely followed him as he ran down the alley. The police immediately radioed the suspect's identity and organized a sweep of the nearby streets. "You're safe, miss. We're sure to find this man," one of the police officers reassured Emily as they made their way back to the store. The girl took the glass of water offered to her with trembling hands, still in shock at what had happened. The policeman questioned Emily for a long time, writing down every detail of her story. They made sure she was unharmed and then promised to patrol her house for a while until they caught the stalker. Emily could barely hold back her tears. She could still feel the man's frantic gaze on her and realized he was somewhere nearby, probably watching her. The clerk patted her sympathetically on the shoulder, offering to stay in the store until her relatives arrived. When her sister Christina finally arrived, Emily threw herself into her arms, allowing herself to cry for the first time. Now that she had loved ones around her, she felt like she could relax a little. Christina stroked her head, reassuring her, "It's going to be okay. You're safe. I'm with you." Emily clung tighter to her. realizing that only in her sister's arms could she find comfort after the nightmare she had experienced.